Hello, everybody. This is Napa Fan here, and this is NRLOA RaceCenter Live, episode number 7. And yes, this is going to be the last episode I host of this podcast. I don't know if anybody else is going to take it over, but with college starting in a week and a half for me, and for me just having a hard time finding the time to ever do this. You got in here fast. But anyways, as I was explaining, with the amount of things I have in my life right now, it is just very hard to find the time to do this on a regular basis. We didn't even get to it last week, and I kind of figured that trying to do this is just a little too much for me right now. And with everything going on, it's going to be my last one. Not necessarily meaning that I won't be part of this again. I mean, might have somebody else host it some other time, but it's going to be the last time I host it, at least for a while. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about what happened in Michigan the past weekend. And also going to be discussing other NRLOA series like Tristan's Sprite series that is going on right now. And also talk about the Chick-fil-A Cup Series finale. We should get the champion in here, Elijah Gordon. Of course, the guys who are normally in this, I private messaged the link to this hangout, so you guys know what to do there. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started since we have somebody in here already. I'm sorry I'm taking up so much time. But assuming you saw Michigan, how do you think of the race?
It was kind of really like a normal Michigan race. Really, nothing really happens for really the first half of the race. Really, one driver just runs off with it. And this is one of the races I don't like stages. I'd rather have no stages here, so you have fuel strategy at least in the mix more often than not. But I really loved Larson's move. That was fantastic what he did.
The only reason why he was able to make that move is because he had fresh tires.
And he had Trevor Bayne pushing him.
Yeah. I'm not really a Larson fan. Probably of everybody in this community, I probably like him the least. Lower than anybody else likes him. But still, it was a good race on Sunday. I happened to catch the end of it there.
I was going for the home field guy. I really wanted Jones to win that, pull out that victory. But
yeah, that would have been kind of neat to see Bayne or Jones get the win.
I didn't even see where Bayne came from there. He's just he got the third on the final.
I think strategy put him in that position, if I'm not mistaken.
I've heard that Roush at least has some type of speed if they can hold the position once they get up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Roush is definitely a lot better than they have in the past couple of years. It's good to see.
Stenhouse has been good. Stenhouse has been good at Bristol, so that could mean something this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he definitely could be up there on Saturday night. But also at the truck race on Saturday as well. I completely missed that because I was at work. And speaking of which, I just worked 8 hours earlier today, and that's the good reason why this is going to be the last time I host this, because I'm just really busy. But anyways, Darrell Wallace Jr. won with an asterisk. Of course, his finish was encumbered, but he is still credited with the win. And that was definitely a cool thing to see. His first start since the end of 2014, getting it done in that Michigan race.
And then we have the Kyle Busch show last night.
Yeah, completely free. I had to go to bed early last night, so I didn't even catch one lap of it. And you know what? I don't really care because Kyle Busch won. But I will say this. I will say this about Kyle Busch. If I'm Kyle Busch, and if I'm in his position, I would definitely get frustrated by all the people saying that I shouldn't race.
That was the last race in the truck series, at least. He already announced.
Yeah, just in general, I would be upset if I were him. I really would, because the way I see all these people just whine about how You know, he shouldn't be in the series. It's just like if I'm him, that would just frustrate me and
He is upset. He
make
said
me feel disrespected because he truly is there just to compete. He really isn't there just to steal wins away. He just wants to race. You know, he has a passion for it.
he is not happy with that because I don't know if you heard this, but he said he'll pull KBM out of the Truck Series if they ban Cup drivers completely.
That's a lot. That has a lot to do with just the funding of the teams and all that. Because, you know, he brings funding to that team in the Truck Series, and if he were to get taken out, they would lose funding. I mean, those truck teams, they have a hard time keeping up. And
yeah, you see so many without sponsorships, like some either like blank trucks and like local sponsors that jump on last second, or just nothing at all, like Norm Benning, how he's always done it.
Yeah. But in all honesty, I know nobody's going to like me saying this, but I almost kind of hope he just stays in there because I feel for Kyle in, you know, the way everybody hates on him. I just don't like seeing it. And he has every right to race if he wants to, in my opinion, because that's his passion. That's what he wants to do.
I don't like Kyle Busch, but what he did last night was just amazing what he did at Bristol.
Yes.
Like, actually working the outside lane when everyone's just like, the inside lane's going to be the only lane that works as the traction strip and all that. He ended up going to the outside and passing the whole field at Bristol.
Yeah, he did. I mean, as far from what I heard, he did a really good job.
Yeah.
I haven't had much time to really check in on what happened because I woke up, had to go to work, and if I've been home maybe an hour. So, yeah, this hour that I've been at home is like the only time I've had to really check in on anything. So I really don't know how it all played out last night, but I did hear that he moved up. He got a penalty and still moved up through the field.
Yeah, Austin Wayne Self and Justin Haley went at it. Like, not like actually fight, but Self was not happy with Haley in that race.
And here is the Chick-fil-A Cup Series champion, Elijah Gordon.
Hello.
We're gonna talk to you later about that, but right now talking about Kyle Busch in the Truck Series, and of course, if you were listening to what I was saying earlier on, I kind of do, in a way, feel bad for him, the way he kind of just gets hated simply for competing. But how do you feel on it, Elijah?
Oh, if that's the case, I mean, you know, because here's the thing. Cup drivers, especially Kyle Busch, have taken a lot of chances to win a race away from either an Xfinity regular or a truck regular. So basically, let's say in the Truck Series, if you put Kyle Busch in, nobody's going to be able to catch him, with the exception of his trucks and his trucks only. You know, but because it's KBM. The only guy that I've seen that's been able to race Kyle Busch for a position or for the lead is Ben Rhodes. I haven't seen anybody else do it. So but other than that, how are you going to learn anything if you're going to put a Cup driver like Kyle Busch in there who's just going to simply dominate the whole thing? So, I mean, that's how I feel about the whole situation.
I mean, I think for me, the way I feel is like if you just assume that he's going to dominate the whole thing, you know, doesn't he want to do that? I mean, I guess the way I look at it is like he wants to race because he just enjoys doing it. And he should, in my opinion, have every right to do that. But
yeah,
I guess what, you know, ticks me off a little bit with some fans saying like, oh, he's just going to automatically win. Well, if he's going to automatically win, then of course he's going to race because he doesn't want to win. You know what I mean? And the way I look at it as, like, those Xfinity regulars are trying to make a name for themselves. If they're going to be good enough, they're going to have chances at beating Kyle Busch in that series if they race long enough with them.
Like Daniel Suarez last year.
And I kind of have a feeling, like, if it's just the Xfinity regulars, they – you know, when you compare it's going to be harder to compare the Xfinity regulars into the Cup regulars as well. You know what I mean? And I think if you take the Cup drivers out, that's what's going to happen. And I honestly feel like to move up through the ranks is going to become harder then because I guess the way I see it, Now I've said that a lot. I'm trying to think about what I'm trying to say here, but like those Xfinity regulars, they will learn racing with those Cup drivers. You know, they'll see them in that race, and they will see what they are doing, and then they will apply that to future races. I mean, the more you race with somebody that's better than you, the better chance you're going to have at beating them. And that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
And if you're worthy enough to be in the Cup Series, you'll find a way to beat Kyle Busch. And that's why Daniel Suarez and Eric Jones are in Cup rides right now, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah said something about Ben Rhodes being the only one to beat Kyle Busch. What do you think Ben Rhodes would be able to do if he was in a KBM truck?
Well, then he would just simply kind of be like the Kyle Busch of the. Well, I mean, the Christopher Bell of the Truck Series, he would be kind of like dominating. But because he's come close since he's still with those. I mean,
or something else.
Because there have been a few times where Ben Rhodes has come close, but
Kansas.
Kansas, Pocono.
He had a faster truck than Busch did at Kansas. It was just a freak engine thing.
Yeah, that's the part that I think Ben Rhodes has really learned racing with Kyle Busch. Just so that way, like he tried to outsmart him in some parts of the track and like some techniques of getting into the corner and maybe just to get a better run. But again, it's just been an argument that's been going on for a long time with Cup drivers being in the lower series and then having to take them out. This has just been.
I think I know.
It's been going on.
I think I know why they hate Cup drivers being in it. Because it always seems like whenever the Cup drivers are in it, they always pull away, and it's a boring race. Like no one likes it because one driver pulls away.
If you're a true fan of NASCAR, you're not going to care if the race is quote unquote boring or not.
And then when there was like Iowa, there's like wrecks everywhere, and it's just I like Priest battling for the win. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved seeing Priest win, but it was only because there was no Cup guys, but he was even there or even was up like battling for that win.
Yeah.
Look at how many people like Formula One.
I do.
Yeah. Formula One is kind of similar, I guess you can say, to the Xfinity Series and Cup drivers dominating. You're always going to have, Mercedes and Ferrari up front, and pretty much nobody else is going to contend. Maybe Red Bull, but, there's only a small group of guys that can win. And once somebody gets out front, usually in a Formula One race, there's a good 80% chance they're going to win.
Pretty much. But
look at how many fans Formula One has around the world.
Yeah.
They don't care about that. They just enjoy it nonetheless. NASCAR fans don't do that. And, I look at NASCAR, having all these, ratings issues and sponsorship issues. It kind of just goes back to, I'm not trying to label anybody, but just it goes back to the nature of the fans and what they find exciting. And I think that's where the root of the issue with NASCAR is, unfortunately.
And they're forced to try to make it more exciting, which makes stupid rule changes.
Exactly. And then like guys like us too, we just enjoy it nonetheless, like with my series, the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, we're going to be going to a strict points championship in season 7, that's because I just cannot stand that chase format. It's just too gimmicky,
my new series, I have a chase, but it's first 9 races. Whoever's the most consistent make the final 4. There's no win in anything. It's just most consistent drivers make the final 4.
That's better. But even I don't really like that one race determining a champion. I think, we saw it in the Cup Series or in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series finale on Saturday. Trey Burch was a very consistent driver all season long. He crashes late in the going and doesn't win the championship. And I know Elijah doesn't care about that, but but still.
I felt bad for him.
Yeah, I did too. But still, I just don't like a season coming down to one race like that, where you're forced into that position.
Yeah.
I get the excitement factor. It's they don't want it to be like no lock in. Like they go to Phoenix and be like, oh, champion's decided. Then like no one will be like, oh, what's the point of watching Homestead? We already know the champion.
Yeah,
and
well, I mean,
that's why they needed to do that. I feel like this all stemmed because of Edwards and Stewart, because they happened to be to a thing, which is like winner wins the title. It just happened to be like that. It was like based off points, but it happened to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think like a lot of people watched that, whether it was because it got rained out in it, like the final laps were like in very deep prime time, and it was just whoever wins took championship. They probably was like, oh, we must have gotten like a lot of people watching, and it's like, then this is a good idea. And now we have what we had with Logano and Edwards. Like they were doing that because Logano, that was his only chance to win the championship, to make that move. Edwards, his only chance to win the championship was to block that move. So they had to do that to win the championship. It's not like they had like a 5-point gap and be like, oh, I could surrender this one spot to Logano and then just defend off.
The big problem with that is they were forced into that situation.
Mm-hmm. That's the biggest part.
I mean, NASCAR is not a sport like football or like basketball or hockey. It just isn't. And, you know, trying to make it a sport like that has just really messed it up. And, like, you know, trying to add playoffs to it and all that and have it one race determining the champion. Well, yeah, I mean, it's one game that determines who wins the NFL championship, you know, who wins the Super Bowl. But that's a totally different sport. Racing has always been about consistency. And you look at it in other series like Formula One and IndyCar, it's about consistency. Mm-hmm. And I find those series more enjoyable to watch, knowing that they get awarded for doing what they're supposed to do, and that's being consistent. You know, I don't know. I still like NASCAR. I'm not trying to, you know, shoot it down or anything, but, you know, there's just a lot of issues with NASCAR, and I think it stems from just the nature of the fans, unfortunately. And, you know, people complaining about being too boring. I mean, Jimmy Johnson won 5 championships in a row. It's kind of boring when you know who's going to win the championship every year. What's the difference?
What's the difference between that and Formula One? You know, Mercedes is probably going to win it. Like
exactly.
Back in those years, like Lewis Hamilton.
Formula One doesn't make a bunch of stupid decisions and change their championship format. So
you don't see them like restarting like races. You don't see them handing out stage points. You know, stages make it exciting, but.
Yeah, Formula One does a really good job, I think. You just with the way they do their races, the way they do their championship, you know, it's pretty nice and fair in my opinion. And same with IndyCar. I really like the single file restarts in IndyCar. I know a lot of people like double file restarts. I'm not one of those who likes them because the way I see it, that you get, you know, you don't get, if you're like you're not on the front row, you're not the leader of a race, you do not get to choose which lane you get put in.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be stuck in the outside lane. The outside lane could be a terrible lane, but you have no choice but the restart there. If it was a single file restart, everybody would be in the same line. Nobody would be alongside each other. Everybody would be in the positions that they're supposed to be in, and it would be fair for everybody else. So that's why I like NRLOA 2003. You can't have double file restarts like we do now. Mm-hmm. And I've really come to appreciate that, you know, just by doing so many races.
Yeah, but with NR, do you really see a problem with like not being double file restarts?
I find double file restarts being unfair.
It is, but it's like double file restarts. I only have the problem with it in NR is because of lap cars. Other than that, it's like I like the single file restarts.
Another thing, Chick-fil-A Cup Series is going to get rid of those double file restarts where the lap cars start on the inside. They're going to be true single file restarts in season number 7. And I've already started that with the Hers Dash Series, and a couple of people in the chat are actually talking about the race. So, you guys enjoyed that race.
We didn't talk about Mid-Ohio yet.
No, we haven't.
And Andy Lally got 5th in the 07. I have been dying to say that. Lally, Joe Gibbs, Penske, put him in the ride for that race. He will dominate.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Thing about Andy Lally, he does have a full-time ride in the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, so he wouldn't go full-time in NASCAR. He already tried that, and I don't think it went too well.
I'm just saying, you won the Rookie of the Year. That's what
there were no true good competitors for that. But
oh yeah, Stephen Light is also Rookie of the Year. Hence, no good competitors.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, he put, we saw Ryan Preece, could put in a Gibbs car and dominate Iowa,
Mm-hmm.
and he almost won New Hampshire as well. Of course, Sam Hornish Jr., half the time he's in a ride, he wins now.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of these good drivers out there who, like, they don't race that often, but when they do and they're put in a good ride, they show that they deserve that ride. And we saw that with Mid-Ohio and Sam Hornish Jr. winning the race. And that was definitely a very entertaining one there. But NBC had some issues.
Well, Justin Allgaier spins out and they don't even see it, but you see him in the back of the picture.
Plus, there was Casey Mears that spun around at the top of the screen and they didn't even notice it.
And they didn't even have a good view of the 90 car. What happened?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to see that. I mean, like, that looked like it was a pretty big moment, and they didn't get it.
Like, it's kind of like, I understand kind of why, because it's a road course and it was a back marker. It's like, are you really gonna like film back markers for the just in case? Like, you're trying to find the fastest car because 90 car. Who cares what happens to the 90 car? Is what they're probably thinking.
Yeah.
And two, that was not the main Cup crew either. They had to hire extra people for that race, probably. So
the B team.
Yeah. Yeah, but beyond the fact, it was still a great race. I didn't actually see the end of it because I just knew Sam Hornish was going to win. And I wanted to spend some time with my dad because I don't get to see him too often. But still, it was an entertaining race, and Sam Hornish Jr. got the win.
I don't know how Blake Cook did it, but he finished like 11th after like being in that wreck with like after he got tagged by Poole and like got hit like 5 times. He ended up finishing 11th after that somehow.
Yeah, he did a good job in that race. He started on the pole.
Oh my
almost won, but a lot of people had issues in that race.
Someone went to Wikipedia and changed the Michigan International Speedway Wikipedia to say the owner's Kyle Larson.
That's funny.
That's the thing about Wikipedia changing it. It always turns into jokes when someone starts doing something like that.
Yeah. Anyways, we got Bristol this weekend. Looking forward to that. It should be a good race, hopefully. I'm hoping it's going to be a good race. Last year, I didn't really get to see much of it because it was run on Sunday. I was coming back from vacation that day, and I'm going on vacation again this weekend. But if it doesn't get rained out Saturday night, I should still be able to watch it. So I'm hoping that doesn't get rained out.
I actually didn't check, but I don't think there's rain really expected past this. There might be some in the day, but I don't really think it will be. I'm hoping it's not.
Well, if it's going to rain during the day, they're going to have a competition caution.
Right.
There's one drop of water on the racetrack before the race starts. They're going to have a competition caution.
It says there's rain tomorrow expected. Saturday appears to be cloudy, but rain tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the chance of precipitation is 50% chance. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's
you never know with there. It's
50-50.
Yeah. But nonetheless, looking forward to that race. Kyle Busch has a chance at doing a three-peat again.
At Bristol.
Did that in 2010, I do believe. And he's got a chance at doing it again this weekend.
Oh, he pretty much got handed that chance. I mean, again, I'm just one of those fans that just would much rather prefer a regular win. And
I'm like that too. I'd love to see the regulars win, but like, I don't feel like there is a truly good argument to get rid of the Cup drivers, except for the fact that it's boring.
Yeah, because again,
I mean, and then that's why I don't like the arguments for getting rid of Cup drivers, because there really isn't a true good argument for it.
Yeah,
I like them getting some more like lower the races, but I don't say eliminate them fully.
Yeah, I think where we are right now is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Trey Bartow just asked us if we saw Martin Truex Jr.'s scheme for Bristol. Yes, I did. Did you happen to see that?
Yeah, I did. I like it.
That's kind of an odd looking scheme, but I think it's pretty neat. I think it's pretty neat.
Hang on, let me look at it.
So,
I don't know.
So Xfinity had their final practice. It was Busch, Logano, Poole, Byron, and Allgaier, the top 5.
Brennan Poole's up there. Didn't Cody Coughlin
he was
top
fastest.
practice? Yeah.
And look how that went.
Yeah.
Like he's I don't get what it's because of his name why he gets rides, because he didn't get a top 10 with KBM, and if that's kind of like something I'd expected. But the first,
but he's got the sponsorship money, and in today's day and age, these teams need it. They need it, you know. They need him there on that team. So it's unfortunate where we've come to, but you know, it all stems back just all these decisions NASCAR has made, and I think what it does is it alienates people who are not in the NASCAR from ever liking it, just because it's so complicated. I think I've said this before. When the trucks were at Daytona, my uncle called me, and I told him that the race was on. We were both watching it. And, you know, I tried to explain to him the championship format. It took me over a half an hour to do it. That's just how ridiculous it is.
Practice one, Allgaier was actually fastest. Then Busch, then Cook, Sadler, and Austin Dillon top 5. But you know how Cup drivers, whenever they win in Xfinity, everyone always complains.
Yeah.
I will bet you if Dale Jr. wins, you will not hear a single word.
Exactly.
You will not hear
they use that term a little too generically, I do believe. It's basically the Cup drivers that race in every single race. Well, they can, you know.
Well, the thing is, it's like I wish they would lower like people like rookies who are in the Cup Series. They're fine, but like Ty Dillon is kind of taking advantage of that. He's really running like 20-some races. Like Paul Menard, Austin. Like you don't see Chase Elliott doing that. You don't see Kyle Larson. You don't like Larson runs like
used to
here
see
and there.
Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson did that.
Not as badly though. That's all.
His first Cup season, he was in most of the Xfinity, or it was a nationwide series in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like with that rule. It's like people are gonna be happy, people are gonna be mad. You can't win either way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So if Junior happens to win, I don't think you'll hear much. But I think it's
actually, in all honesty, I'd want to see him win.
I think the problem is that the who's racing mainly. It's Busch, Logano, and Keselowski. What do those three always have in common? People hate all three of them for one reason or another because of how they race, how they act. Like everyone hates them. It's like if you see like Larson win, you don't see as much people. If Junior would win, you see as much people. Menard,
I don't like it when Larson wins.
Like I like Larson, but I'm not one of those crazy Larson fans who thinks he's like the next Jimmy Johnson.
Well, mainly, one of the big reasons why I don't like Larson is because of his fan base. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that because I'm an Elliott fan, but still, it's like, I don't know. Fan base just is a little annoying, I guess, when their driver doesn't do well. Kind of how like Jeff Gordon fans are. I mean, you know, I'm not pinpointing anyone specifically, but just in general. I mean, even junior fans as well. You know, every driver has their fans. Some of them just show more than others, I guess.
I just got something in a PM. I don't know if this is true or not, but they say Keselowski's gonna end his truck team after this year.
I wouldn't be surprised because he once said that he loses like $1 million each year trying to run that team.
All it is like Team Penske, but in the truck series. That's all it really is for them.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Ford gives them any factory support. Whereas Toyota teams, I believe, do get factory support.
I'm trying to look to see something from the actual team itself to see if it's like true or not. or if it's just someone playing like a stupid prank or whatever. I don't see anything on the actual team Facebook, so.
That is big if true.
Yeah.
But still, I'm not surprised by it. Just like I said earlier on, the nature of the truck series. You know, today you have all these drivers, or all these teams, I should say, that just have trouble funding their teams. You saw what happened to Red Horse.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have any sponsors. They couldn't keep the team running. And even though Brad Keselowski Racing has sponsors, I don't think they bring in enough money to keep the team running. So it'd be unfortunate to see that, because they're pretty much the only Ford team in the truck series, basically.
That they're really the only. Is there really any other team?
Whatever team Regan Smith drives for in the truck series.
Oh yeah, that part-time team. Yeah, Ricky Benton Enterprises. I'm pretty sure that's what the official name of the team is.
Yeah, but other than that, I think that's it. It's either Chevys or Toyotas.
And then you have the Dodges every once in a while of Mike Harmon.
Not really in the trucks anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, not in the trucks anymore. You only see it in Xfinity.
Yeah, but you still see them in Xfinity.
Yeah, just the one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm actually taking the count off of the thing. There are 10 Chevrolet teams in the trucks. Wait, there are 10 Chevrolet teams in the truck series. There are 12 that that run Dodges sometimes. Then you would have you would make 17 that sometimes run Fords and Chevys, like the O2 team. They merged. Austin Hill Racing runs Fords, but he merged with the O2 team, so they go back and forth between Ford and Chevy sometimes. So, but then you have so many other teams that run it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because also I noticed when I was at MIS and I was sitting on the pit wall, I noticed that Derek Cope's car was a Toyota, and who was it? Reed Sorensen's car was a Chevy. I noticed that those two were actually teammates for Premium Motorsports, and I was like, that's strange. I didn't even know that you could do that. Well, my dad explained to me that, you know, teams like Premium Motorsports, since they don't have enough fundings, they have to say maybe buy maybe a car from a team that's kind of very small and just can't keep the team going. So
like BK Racing almost.
Yeah, but just I found it strange with Premium, because they had a Chevy and the Toyota, and they were teammates for one team.
The thing is, what's crazy is that that 66 car, they only have that one car, and they always seem to be that team in the Xfinity Series. They have literally run every manufacturer this year. Like last year, I think they did the same. Like they run Dodge, they run Chevy, they run Ford, they run Toyota. They literally run everything. That 30 and the 40, just swap back and forth. Then they have one Cup car.
Yeah,
from H. Scott.
If they wreck that car, then they've got nothing.
Which that makes so much sense on why they don't run like any of the bigger tracks. Like they're running Bristol, but there's 41 cars that can make it. So I feel like they may end up missing the race.
Yeah, because especially for teams that are start and park, it costs so much to at least start the race. So, you know how a start and park works. They start the race, run a few laps, then go back in and go to the garage. They only want to do that so that way they can save their stuff, because finishing last for a small team, it pays a lot. So in that way they can get all the fundings that they can get from finishing last, so that way they can get ready for the next one.
There's one of my favorite stories about a start and park team. I don't remember what team it was. Remember the massive wreck at the beginning of the 2002 Aaron's 312?
Yeah.
That there was a start and park team. They said they planned on starting parking before the race even started. Then they said, nah, we'll run a few laps. The wreck happens, they miss it, and they get something like a top 5 out of it.
Yeah.
That is like my favorite story out of like every starting park team that I've heard.
Yeah.
Stories of. Like they think they're just some random decision. Someone just like, we're gonna run the race, run a few laps, see what happens. And just there happens to be a massive wreck, takes up over half, not over half the field, over 3/4 of the field, pretty much. And they get a top 5 out of it. Can you imagine how much money they got out of that compared to last?
Must have been a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Also, back in 2014, Josh Wise and Phil Parsons Racing, you know how they were. They used to be a starting park team. Well, at Darlington, I think one point in the race they were running in the top 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, I just found it. Bob Pockrass said that Keselowski announces he shuts down following this year. The truck team's done, and it's Bob Pockrass, so that means it's not some prank.
Yeah, it's official.
Pretty much.
Once he says it, it's official.
So now what happens to Cindric and Briscoe? Because Cindric, he needs more time to develop because we saw him shooting up.
I don't think Cindric deserves to go anywhere, honestly. I don't really see him being too good of a driver. I know he finished second in Michigan, but honestly, I think he just buys his way into that ride because his dad runs Team Penske.
Briscoe, I feel like, should get the 12 in the Xfinity Series because they say they were going to start it this year. They didn't start this year. They're probably going to start next year, if I had to guess, with Keselowski being gone.
Yeah, and just in my opinion, for Austin Cindric, you know, just I see him going somewhere, but where, I don't know. That's the thing. But as for Chase Briscoe, I definitely do see him maybe, just maybe, going up to the Xfinity Series, but I don't. But again, we'll just have to see what the future holds.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with that because Cindric, I feel like he's gonna probably get the 12, to be honest, because Tom Cindric or Tim Cindric. They're gonna buy the ride for him, if I had to guess. So
yeah,
that begs the question: what's gonna happen with Briscoe? It's like, will he get like just screwed over out of like being able to do anything in NASCAR, even though he's probably the far better driver?
I would hate it if Chase Briscoe was another one of the if Chase Briscoe was added to the list of wasted talent.
Yeah,
that's something I would not want.
Yeah, because he's been up there. Like if he happens to. Like he's been up there. If he can go out with a championship, that he should definitely get an Xfinity Series ride, or at least another truck ride.
Yeah,
I feel like KBM will lead the Wasted Talent Series because they have so many young drivers. They're gonna have to kick some of them off the team at one point.
Yeah, I mean, for one, I like the idea of shutting down KBM, but at the same time,
that's gonna kill the truck series.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like Kyle Busch doesn't realize what he's doing. Like, I understand if NASCAR won't let you race for your own team, but you're also basically screwing out other talent that's upcoming and that deserves the chance.
If he doesn't race for the team, then they're not going to be able to find the funding for the team in order to have all these up and coming drivers race. That's why he's pulling his team out. He's not just doing it to be stupid. He's doing it because he races on his truck team to help fund his truck team because he's Kyle Busch. A lot of people who don't watch NASCAR know who he is. He's going to bring in sponsorship. And since he brings in sponsorship, that helps fund the truck team.
Like even
they can get those up-and-coming drivers in. And that's why, going back to this, I'm not going to be all like, we got to ban cup drivers from all these series because all that's going to do, especially in the truck series, not necessarily in the Xfinity series, but especially in the truck series, is just going to kill it, basically.
Because think about it. There's barely 30 trucks some races. Some races have 34. Like you had 34 this weekend because you had Jesse Little. You had the 75 and 92, but all those trucks are part-time. And then you had like even Norm Benning, he realizes there is not a full field pretty much every weekend. So he's starting parks as 57 to make more money for that 6 truck because why you leave the field like open 2 spots? Wouldn't you rather get another truck at least to run like a few laps just to get like double the money pretty much?
Yeah.
And he got like 13th at Eldora, so that probably gave a pretty hefty paycheck to come to compare to what that team normally gets.
Yeah.
Because that team, the 6 truck, actually got parked last night, if you guys didn't hear about that, because he couldn't meet minimum speed.
That's interesting.
So that's why he went out so fast. Nemechek, he's doing the same thing to get more money for Nemco. He's literally taking the 8 trucks, putting an 87 on it, and running 1 lap, or parking it when the field goes green so he doesn't damage it at all.
Yeah.
To progress his son's career.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, that's a thing where it's like, John Hunter Nemechek, he got the ride because of his name, but he's also like hardworking, and not just because of what the team has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he isn't one that bought his way into the ride.
Yes, his dad probably got the team for him, but that team is not the greatest team in the world. But he is making it look great.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward silence.
I was about to say, and now silence on the NRLOA RaceCenter Live.
And now no one knows what to
Silence,
say.
sponsored by Credit One Bank. Anyways, let's get into a more lightening subject, I guess. Our own leagues that we know aren't going to die because of lack of funding. I make $0 out of this, and I've been able to do it as much as I have for the past 2.5 years. I think I'm going to be fine. But anyways, we're going to start out with Tristan and Sprite series. I'll also go ahead and talk about your other series as well, even though they're not in the NRLOA. So go ahead.
Yeah, the Sprite series I just ran Pocono. Surprisingly clean race. I actually had a pass for the lead. Like, one driver, I added stages just so I can do that. One driver won stage 1 and 2 and got beat in a photo finish on the last lap. So that really happens at Pocono. Season's been absolutely crazy. I don't know why the AI decided to go crazy in this series. It's just some weird luck in this Xfinity series that I always run, because in the first 2 races I ever did with the NXS 15 mod, there was a caution that ended the race. The leader blew up both times. So I don't know if I just have some weird voodoo magic luck from the Xfinity series to make it just absurd or whatnot. But that's just happens. Crazy races. But then I have the Decide Cup series, not an NRA league. I just run that. It's gonna be starting the duels probably sometime tonight. Just my vision of a quote unquote simulation league, so to speak. That's where I'm talking about the new chase format that I'm talking about. I'm gonna have chase cutoff, 9 races, top 4 drivers at the end of that go to the final 4. That's all I'm gonna do for that. If not, even change that up.
You can check out all of Tristan's series on his channel. Most of you probably know what it is, but in case you don't, it's night racing now. Thank goodness. It hasn't been night NASCAR for a long time, and I'm still thinking that it is that. Night racing.
I changed that because I thought I was going to do some like a Formula One podcast at one point.
Yeah. I changed mine because, you changed yours about the same time when, NASCAR was supposedly taking all these accounts down because they had NASCAR in them. And I changed it kind of just for one thing to get away from it, get away from NASCAR a little bit. And 2, just in case they were to get at me for using Chase Elliott's number or likeness, I don't know.
Yeah.
But just in general, I like it that I kind of, identify myself more as an IndyCar person now than a NASCAR person, I guess. Because I like IndyCar better to a point. But, yeah, I don't think Elijah's really, you have your series is the WRLA.
Yeah.
Why don't go ahead and talk about that anyway?
All right, so Watkins Glen was already done and in the books. I believe Wayne Lopez in the 97 pulled off the pit strategy. He won the race. Then Emmanuel Hartnett in the Cup race actually pulled off to get his 2nd win of the season, 2nd driver ever to do it. And the next week, we're going to be going over to Chicagoland Speedway, and the next race will actually, believe it or not, be tomorrow
at I believe 7 p.m. Eastern time. So
Sweet.
so hopefully you guys can tune into that. And then McDonald's Series race will be on Saturday, and then the Cup race will be on Sunday.
Cool. And you could check out all the WRLA action and some NRLOA action as well on Max the Hedgehog. Great channel over there. And definitely recommend you go check his stuff out. Anyways, this past Saturday, the Chick-fil-A Cup Series season number 6 concluded with a rather bizarre finale. And considering that it is our last finale under this format, it is a good thing. But we do have the champion of season 6 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series with us here today. That's Elijah Gordon. Drove the number 5 through the championship victory lane, and figure we interview you on that. So just how do you feel about that championship? Like, what was going through your head when you saw Trey Bartow crash?
Well, I'll say this, like, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, like, after 4 seasons of trying and frustration, I can say I finally did it. When the race started, I mean, the car was just extremely tight. It wasn't able to hold the bottom, so I had to kind of fall back a little bit, and then I just had to hope that everything would happen. And so far, I mean, like, it eliminated 2 other contenders there, but then it came down to me and Trey. We were just trading the position back and forth, and one point in the race, you know, Trey actually kind of pulled away a little bit, and just I think it was because of lap traffic that almost took us out of contention. But then all of a sudden, you know, the wreck happened on the front straightaway, and my spotter told me that Trey got involved in the wreck. I managed to get by him, and from there I just had to take it easy, and I won the title. But my heart was pounding so fast. I was thinking, holy cow, is this actually going to happen? Is this reality? But I felt bad for Trey. You know, he did such a great job. He put up a great effort for the championship, and, you know, we'll see if we can get another one next season.
Elijah Gordon will be returning to Season 7. Of course, Season 7 is going to be a custom series, and he's going to he chose the option of making his own single car team to drive for, and he is going to be the only driver allowed to do that since he won the championship. So if you want to be a team owner, you can't drive next season. Keep that in mind, you guys. That's a big one I'm going to stress when we get the team signups up in, I would assume, about a month, I'd say. We're going to wait for the Chevy Camaro template to be made for the new mod. But once that's up, I'm going to go ahead and get that started so I can paint the cars, and you guys can paint as well. And hope you guys enjoy Season 7. I'm going to put a lot of work into it, and I'm looking forward to getting to it. But Elijah Gordon, the defending champion, will be driving the number 5. I forget what your sponsor is going to be. But it's going to be a 5 Chevy Stanley. You know, you can have multiple sponsors if you want to.
Okay.
Multiple paint schemes. We're going to be doing multiple paint schemes for Season 7 as well. For those of you who will paint your own cars, I will only be painting 1 car for each team car, of course. But if you're painting your own cars, you can send up to 3 schemes for me. So yeah.
Yeah, so just letting you know on this, the new mod, the owner of the mod said they're actually making a full-blown new model for the Camaro. So that is a thing.
Yeah, I figured they probably would have to do that.
Yeah, they've already made a Chevy Camaro for the BR Gen 615, but not yet for the beta. So
sadly, yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the beta, it's actually gonna be like a new, like they're actually gonna do like all the new like sleek design and not just like put the Camaro on the SS.
Yeah, just like don't put the put the nose on the Camaro on and then just
exactly.
slap on the headlights. Then there you go. Boom, it's a Camaro. It's like, that's a cheating way to do it.
It's the Camaro.
It's almost like the Audi where you have like all the Chevy headlights and all that stuff. Then you take off the Chevy logo, put the Audi logo on. Yeah, there, it's an Audi. There, yeah. Are you amazed? Be amazed. It's like that.
Yeah, some of those like new templates like that for custom cars are just eh.
Yes, and definitely looking forward to Season 7. I've never painted that many cars before, and that's why we're going to do the team signups in September. I plan for the series to begin in February. So I just want to make sure I give myself enough time to get it all done.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be very busy.
Oh, they're finally making the Toyota diecasts. Oh, it took them until almost September.
I don't even buy diecasts anymore.
I have like a box, a lot of box of diecasts in a shoe box. Yeah. And now, silence
I'm
segment.
responding to people who are asking about Season 7 here.
Okay, so Kozlowski said that like it was a dream that he wanted to own a team at the top level of the sport. And while this is many years down the line, he wants to start preparing for that possibility now. Part of the preparation is seeking to develop an advanced engineering and manufacturing company that will be housed out of our 78,000 square foot facility in Statesville and will ultimately help to support this vision. So I think he's ending Brad Kozlowski Racing now, but we may see it back in the Cup or Xfinity Series down the line 10 years, 5-10 years.
I see.
So I think he's trying to, since it said, like you heard Napa Fan Ray said, $1 million a year, I think he's just like, rather save that money and be like, put it towards the Cup team development and all that.
I see. That makes sense. That makes sense.
It's kind of what I see Junior doing. Like, I kind of have a feeling that, like, I know this would be, I really wish this would happen. Sadler announces he will run one final season in the Cup Series for Junior Motorsports.
I don't know.
Well, that is
Sadler
if Junior
will
Motorsports
go to the Cup Series.
Yeah. I know
that is a Junior Motorsports does extend up to the Cup Series because keep in mind, you know, Junior Motorsports is like the extension of Hendrick Motorsports.
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah, like,
so
I wish that would happen. I doubt it will happen, but it would be cool to see Sadler have like one last season.
I mean, it'd be cool to see. Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to see, nevertheless.
Yep.
Ready for 3 people in silence.
That'd be just like, it's like every time we're silent, we just play Jeopardy music.
Sorry for me.
I'm still responding to people who are asking questions.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, yeah, a lot of people are now like, "Oh, Season 7, can't wait, What asking all these questions? Chill out, guys. It's over
like,
6 months before it's going to begin."
Like, hold your horses, please.
Definitely. We will explain it later, of course. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. Have I ever done that with anything? I work very hard with this stuff. Trust me. You know, I got to be honest. I'm really liking the Hers Dash series now. It's just nice and short. Don't have to take a bunch of time doing it. When I was doing the Cup series, it would take like an hour and a half to edit. Now it only takes about 15 minutes to edit the Hers Dash series, so it's just much nicer now. A lot more time. And the Napa Truck series should be like that too, so that's good because I'm going to be very busy during the fall. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. This is going to be the last episode I host for a while. Might have Alex, maybe even Tristan or Elijah might host this some other time if they want to, and I might join along with them. This is going to be the last time I host it, though, because I'm going to be very busy here shortly, and just don't have the time, unfortunately, to do this every single week. But I will try to keep this up, even if it's gone for a few months. You know, when I get the time, I will return it for a little bit. But for now, in the near future, it's going to be my last episode I'm going to host. Definitely check out the NRLOA podcast. That was the original NRLOA podcast, of course, and that's on Max the Hedgehog's channel. You guys are going to hit episode 65 on Monday, so
Yes.
they've been doing it quite some time, and here I am, episode 7.
The road
wannabe. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. I think that's it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed NRLOA RaceCenter Live. If any of you guys, and I don't know if either of you guys, I know Tristan is, if any of you guys are football fans, coming up on my main channel at 6, I'm announcing the NRLOA Fantasy Football League on NFL.com this year. And the login to that's going to come up at 6, so I hope you guys join in for that. It's going to be very fun. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. I am Napa fan. And on behalf of Elijah Gordon, Tristan Allen, that is it for me. I will see you guys later.
Hashtag road to 100 episodes of the podcast. Well then.